have a special meeting at some point to interview the firms and make our recommendations. And for facility, one of their schools is under construction, so some of their administration people needed to use space in the nearby area, so we were approached, and apparently we have 2 empty classrooms in the middle school here that they can use in the interim while their construction is being taken care of. I believe it's going to be 5-6 months. We don't really know it's construction, so there was the area of the school was deemed condemned. It was unsafe, so they had to go somewhere else with their BA and some other staff. So we're going to allow them to use some empty classrooms in the interim. And also for facilities, we have a used lawnmower that's no longer useful, so we're going to donate it to the town of Hardiston. They have similar lawnmowers, so they're going to use it for parts. And I believe that is all for facilities and finance.
Can I ask a question?
I mentioned especially.
You go ahead.
You opened the bids today for the attorney.
Yes.
Who was there for that? You and
Mike, no one.
how many bids did we get?
3.
So can we discuss that and who put in? Is that can you share that with us publicly?
Sure. I have it on my phone.
Yeah.
I'll go grab it real quick because it's in
All
my
right,
office.
and then can we meet an executive to look at the bids prior to interviewing them?
I have to check them all first to make sure everyone submitted all the paperwork that they needed. So once I look at them, then I was going to
You can send it out.
submit it to the board.
Yeah, I believe we're all going to look, and then we're going to decide to have a special meeting to talk about it.
We can call in a special meeting and then just go into executive and also set up some interviews at the same time.
Those interviews are in public or the interviews are private?
I have to check.
You said they're public. No?
They're not. They're usually in private.
In private.
They could. I've done it in public.
Could be
but
in public.
It's typically done in executive.
All right.
It's not going to be done today. We'll probably do it for, we'll agree, we'll mutually agree.
Well, it can be shared today who put in for the bids.
Yeah,
We can have that if we want to know how many we received and,
Yeah.
you know what I mean, the schematics and the scopes and the content of the bids themselves.
Yeah.
Maybe not, but how many and everything there, I think could be shared. And then when Sue reviews them, if they're all in order, then we get all the paperwork. Challenge having special meetings in summer with vacations, as you can see, two people are not here either. So we'd like to discuss that too when we're actually proceeding with that. So
Just hoping to do it at the Lake Community Swing Set.
We'll figure it out, we'll find the time, and we'll coordinate it out.
all right, so we'll share that in a little bit.
In your report, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Everyone's looking.
That was my question in regards to facilities and finance. Did you have something?
Yeah, I just wondered when hold up, I'm fine. When the playground's going to be started.
Mike would be able to tell me when they're going to start. They were supposed to do it, I guess, now, right?
I know, it was in the summer, but more toward August. Just coordination and stuff, so.
Yeah, I believe it's a 4 to 6 week install, and they're supposed to have it before
4
school.
to 6 week and they're starting
Or
on?
4 to 6.
Oh, 4 to 6.
Yeah, 4 to 6, and I would imagine they're going to have it, they know they have to have it before school, so. It's not that comprehensive like it was for the parking lot.
Yeah.
It's a very small area and a very little excavation.
Okay, well, Sue is looking, I can do a president's report. Okay, first I wanted to extend a heartfelt gratitude on behalf of the entire Board of Education to Sandra Burke and Cindy Booty Whitaker for their remarkable service for our district. Sandra was here for 26 years. She made an impact in math interventionist and a coach. And Cindy, who was here for 28 years as an office secretary or assistant. We thank you both for the unwavering commitment to Hardiston District. You are truly appreciated, and we wish you great summer and joyful, well-deserved retirements. We are also developing a new policy to conduct annual surveys ensuring we gather valuable feedback to enhance our school community. Additionally, we want to thank our teachers, staff, and administrators for their dedication, which made the 2024-2025 school year as a success. Thank you. And then looking ahead, we're scheduled for a workshop in August meeting focusing on goal settings for both board goals and superintendent goals, providing a collaborative start for the upcoming school year, 2025-2026. We also continue to meet in our committees as we plan ahead. We look forward to your insights as we plan for the future. Thank you and have a great summer.
So we have received 3 requests for proposals. Scarinci and Hollenbach from Little Falls, Schenk, Price, Smith, and King from Florham Park, and Cleary, Jacoby, Alfieri, and Jacobs from Oakland.
What was the last one?
I have a copy.
Cleary and some of it.
Cleary, Jacoby, Alfieri, Jacobs, LLC from Oakland.
Oakland. And the first one's Delancey and
And Hollenbach.
Hollenbach.
I have a copy I'll hand out to everyone.
Okay, thank you. We're moving on to superintendent's report.
Did you do a personnel report?
Yes, I did. Yes, I combined it with.
Oh, you combined it with the report,
Yeah,
okay.
because there was no way
Got
there.
it.
It's just a light one.
All right, thanks for coming, everybody, to a July meeting, very impressive. And security drills for June, for last month of school. We had a fire drill at the elementary school on June 3rd, and a shelter-in-place drill at the middle school on June 13th. And at the elementary school, we had a fire evacuation drill on June 6th, and then a shelter-in-place on June 13th as well. I just want to remark that the extended school year for our special education students began on June 30th, and that will run until July 31st, and we have 58 students attending. Staffing updates and hires, all open positions have been filled except for secretary and long-term substitute school counselor, because the one that we had at the end of the year got a full-time job, so that's great. And preschool and kindergarten updates. So far, we have 68 preschool students registered out of 90 potential slots. Registration is open throughout the summer, and we will intentionally keep some slots open for incoming special education students who turn 3 during the school year. But we still have slots open. And so far, we have 64 registered for kindergarten. 64 for kindergarten, which is more than last year. So that's what I have. Thank you so much.
Okay, now we open up for public comment. Anyone has a comment about the agenda items only? Okay, seeing none. We're not going to executive. Old business, showing all the regular meeting dates. New business, is there any new business? Okay. Motion to adopt meeting minutes. Can I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Alfano?
Yes.
Mrs. Barrett?
Yes.
Mrs. Carey?
Yes.
Mr. Demsack?
Abstain.
Mr. Drellick? Mr. Hoffman?
Yes.
Mrs. Lucarelli?
Yes.
Ms. Murata?
Yes.
Mr. Riley?
HIV report.
There are no new HIVs since our last meeting on June 10th. So the only thing to approve tonight is the one that was reported in June, which was an unsubstantiated investigation at the elementary school, and there's no new information.
Thank you. Motion to adopt the HIV report. Can I have a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Alfano?
Yes.
Mrs. Barrett? Mrs. Carey?
Yes.
Mr. Dempsey?
Yes.
Mr. Trellick? Mr. Hoffman?
Yes.
Mrs. Lucarelli?
Yes.
Ms. Marata?
Yes.
Mr. Ryan?
We are moving to finance. Mr. O'Connor, please call the motion.
Motion to accept action items F1 through F5. Do I have a second?
Second.
Call it, please.
Discussion?
Discussion?
Yeah, thank you. I'd like to discuss F5 for a moment. The proposal to employ Schneck, Price, Smith, and King for August 1st to August 31st. I just question, one, why are we doing this, and two, the timing of the whole process of hiring a new attorney at the end of the year when you normally would do this around January, around the reorg, to start the process, that somebody would, a new firm potentially would come in July. So, and this is more for the edification of the public as well as, the process in general, what materialized the whole concept of bringing a new attorney or a new firm. I call it a new firm because at our meetings we have Joe, but we also in the firm use Robin for special education, which you all met when she did the presentation. And, who to my understanding has been doing a phenomenal job in the special education department too, but works for Schneck, Price, Smith, and King as well. So I just question the whole process of getting to this point and where this concept came from, so those who wanted it can speak publicly of why we're doing this and why this process is going forward now instead of in a normal situation when it would come up after reorg and the process would start July 1st through June 30th in a normal situation.
Right. Well, at the last meeting, we were actually approving the lawyer or our attorney for the entire year. So it was a motion that was called the reorg, and we were actually, so it wasn't January, as you had mentioned, it was actually in June.
No, the process to switch an attorney usually would start then, Donna. And then so now it started in committee, the concept and discussion came up, which was shot down, and then it came back on the agenda for now. And I guess the question is why? When I'm looking at the rates, I can't wait to see what the other attorneys are going to present, but hourly rates of $180 for partners and $170 for associates. It's pretty good rates and also our attorneys, and I'm not just saying this to Joe's there, but our other attorney, Robin, has done a phenomenal job. And I can't speak publicly about special education matters, but we're currently in process where her services are being utilized. And I just question the whole timing of it. Because to the point, like you're saying, yes, you're approving them to do it again. It's the same thing when you get rid of somebody, you usually give them 60-day notice and you find a replacement. Now we're just realizing an error, and now we're saying, okay, we have to hire a new attorney. And we're extending the services of Schneck, Price, Smith, and King for another month while we shop around. And usually that process would take place in January, February, so that a new person a new firm, if you went with somebody, would take place in June. So you don't get to this point of, oh, we're hiring somebody for an entire year, but then we changed it and said monthly basis, and then now the next month we're doing it. And then we don't find somebody, so then now in August or September, we're going to have to do it before September. We're going to be here, we're going to be like, hey, we got to now extend somebody else for another month while we continue to do it and go back out to RFP again.
Right. Well, there's nothing wrong with that. That's all we're doing is
So it's what-
shopping around and looking at different prices and different services.
So that's the question is why? Where did this come from? And why are we doing this?
Why are we shopping?
And I think, speak,
With
please,
an
if you can, why are we shopping around for a new attorney?
I could probably explain that. It was my initiation to seek out different attorneys as the current contract ended in June, and we had to go for RFQ, and the RFQ process took longer than it should have. So we
Well, why?
extended it.
What's
Well,
RFQ?
What's
there-
the, like, I understand the process, we have
Request
to do
for
RFP
quotation.
and request for RFP, request for proposal. But why did we start it? I understand, yes, we had to do it, we wanted to go to RFP, and we did this process to do it.
Yeah, no, I'll
But
tell you.
Now before backwards.
I'll tell you.
Yeah, tell everybody.
So it was in executive sessions, I brought up some incidents that I thought were unfair to the board, and we were being disserviced by the current legal representation, and back and forth. I don't know what I'm allowed to say, that was an
Not too
executive.
Not too much.
Not too much, so
You're unhappy with the services? of
I was
the-
unhappy with several personnel decisions that were affected by legal opinions and other instances between the board, starting from 2 years ago, that I felt should have been handled a little bit differently. It had nothing to do with money. We don't spend a lot on legal services to begin with, so even if legal services cost more going forward, it's still not going to be a strain on a district. I mean, after spending $1.9 million on a parking lot, I don't think a $5,000 legal bill is our biggest expense. But I was unhappy with the service in certain instances, and then so I initiated the RFQ. So if anybody has to blame anybody, Tony Alfano says, we need a new lawyer.
And then now, here we are.
Here we are.
Because Tony Alfano
Well,
said.
no,
he
no,
didn't.
No, I initiated it, but if you want a boogeyman, I'll be the boogeyman.
I don't want a boogeyman. My
Well-
whole point is I want the public to understand where this process came from. It wasn't
Right.
just materialized out of thin air.
This was ongoing for years, and finally we got a majority to get an
Your president and I
RFQ.
can speak for somebody who's been on the board and working with Joe for 7 or 8 years. A lot of the issues, and I can't speak about executive matters, but a lot of the things are really not in the realm of a board attorney to solve, which has been discussed, which you disagreed with. But the reality is that the attorney is not a referee between board members.
Correct.
And
I disagree
Well, like,
with
regardless
that.
of that's not the role of the board attorney. And the other thing we have to keep in mind is this firm isn't just Joe, it's also our special education attorney who did a phenomenal presentation with Dr. Mafia. And we are which is like, processes has been in place where this person has done a good job of representing the district in solving matters before they become
We ap-
consequential.
we appreciate your input. We've had some discussions in committees about this topic, and we can continue talking about it in committees if you like. But on the overall, we're just looking to see who else is out there and provides these types of services, and you put
Right.
your opinion to.
Right, I
And
think-
we hear you, and.
I appreciate that, and I thank you, and just know we changed which I didn't agree with, but we changed the policy to allow the president and the vice president to contact the board attorney in regards to matters. And I questioned, like, that process happened like 5 months ago, and have you spoken to Mr. Roselli about your concerns prior to even pursuing it, so it
Yes.
allows him to do it?
Yes, we have. Jean and myself, we spoke to Mr. Roselli a couple of months ago.
But when the RFP continued.
Yes, Jean wants to make a comment.
Hey, Gene.
Hey, Nick. Hey, guys. My comment is, in our last executive session, you questioned this as well, and several of us brought up some of the doubts that we have. It was talked about in executive session. So I don't know why you're bringing this up again, because, several of us had the opinion that we questioned the proactive actions of the lawyer. And so I think this is, acceptable to just get different prices and, interview other lawyers. My question is it possible to keep the special education lawyer, even if you find a primary lawyer for the board with another firm?
You'd have to, I would highly encourage if the board went to the route, of going to a different firm, that you would hire her as an individual contractor to finish the cases that she is currently overseeing, just because of the man hours that you would have to put in training. So, and then that's a minimum. you'd have to, you potentially could, there are districts that hire different firms for different things. So
Okay.
you
Yeah,
could,
that's
but
fair.
that's what you'd have to put another, I don't know what the RFP read. You'd have to talk, you're hiring somebody as a general board attorney, but then you're hiring a special education attorney as well, which districts do get.
Well, we can talk about it during our interview process and find out more information about those firms and what services they provide.
Yeah, so just real quick, the RFP was for general attorney, labor attorney for negotiations, and special ed, so there's 3 separate areas there. Just one thing, Tony, you had said that the RFP process took longer than it should have. I just want to say Sue put it out right away, and there is a timeline by law that we have to get them back by, so the timeline, once it went out, is what it is. Like, there's nothing we can change for that process. That's
No,
why
it
it's another month.
wasn't the process for Sue, it was the board making the decision to
get
actually.
it rolling.
To get it rolling.
Got it.
So I had made a compelling argument to actually have a vote to do that, and it was affirmative, and that's when Sue quickly got the RFQ.
No, that I get. I just wanted to make sure that everybody's aware. The timeline that we have to follow is a timeline,
Yeah.
so there's nothing that we have done now.
Is there any other questions? Let's call.
Call it.
Roll call.
Mr. Alfano?
Yes.
Mrs. Barrett?
Yes.
Mrs. Carey?
Yes.
Mr. Dempsey?
Yes to F1 to F4, no to F5.
Thank you. Mr. Drellick, Mr. Hoffman?
No to F5 and yes to F1 through 4.
Thank you. Mrs. Lucarelli?
1 through 4, yes, 5, no.
Ms. Murata?
Yes.
Mr. Riley is not here. Thank you.
Okay. Curriculum. Oh, facilities, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Tom.
Motion to accept FO1 to FO3. Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion? Call it, Sue?
Mr. Alfano?
Yes.
Mrs. Barrett? Mrs. Carey?
Yes.
Mr. Dempsey?
Yes.
Mr. Drellick, Mr. Hoffman?
Yes.
Mrs. Lucarelli?
Yes.
Ms. Murata?
Yes.
Mr. Riley?
Okay, curriculum. Motion to adopt CP1. Can I have a second?
Second.
Any questions? Roll call, please.
Mr. Alfano?
Yes.
Mrs. Barrett?
Yes.
Mrs. Carey?
Yes.
Mr.
Why is it being paid by Walco?
Because it
Is
was,
it Walco student? Okay, that's why I thought so, but I just want to clarify. Thank you, sorry.
Mr. Dempsey?
Yes.
Mr. Drellick, Mr. Hoffman?
Yes.
Mrs. Lucarelli?
Yes.
Ms. Murata?
Yes.
Mr. Riley?
Personnel. Motion to adopt P1 to P8. Can I have a second?
Oh, second.
Any questions?
I'll just make a comment. I wish Ms. Burke and Ms. Foodie a wonderful retirement.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we all agree.
Okay, roll call?
Mr. Alfano?
Yes.
Mrs. Barrett?
Yes.
Mrs. Carey?
Yes.
Mr. Dempsey?
Yes.
Mr. Drellick, Mr. Hoffman?
I'm going to recuse myself on P7 and yes to the rest.
Thank you. Mrs. Lucarelli?
Yes.
Ms. Murata?
Yes.
Mr. Riley?
Okay, policy. Motion to adopt first reading of the policy 9128.01, school climate survey. Culture, sorry. Can I have a second?
Second.
I have a question.
Sure.
I noticed that in the presentation, you had deleted in item 2, survey design and content, G, equity and inclusivity in the school environment. I'd like to have that reinstated.
Well, I just want to say that I had put that policy forward, and I made a mistake of having that in there, and that policy was actually, it's our own crafted policy that we had submitted, and Mr. Ryder had worked on it with Strasser Ismay, and we'll take it under consideration.
Will, but I'm
We
sorry.
will take it under consideration. Thank you.
You can't change it right now? Like, this is for like students too, right?
Yes, it's for.
So like, we have to understand that too, where it says equity and inclusivity in the school environment. If we're gonna survey students, I think those two words themselves, how inclusive is the school to support your needs and how well do you get treated versus other people, that's how I see that. And I don't understand what, like, you know, why that's bad. And I don't know, and I get it, it's our policy, but like, again, who removed it? Somebody stroked that through and said, we don't want that in there.
We removed it in a policy committee.
So the policy committee decided, but then now,
Look, the policy committee created the policy. And
this is ours, right? We
Yes,
just created this, so like,
yes.
if there isn't an
It's
There is
associated,
no, not,
got it.
right,
So like, well, we took information from places to create the policy.
right.
Like, you know, so I just wanna, like, I get it, and I know you're saying we'll take it under consideration, but this is the time to take it under consideration.
Well, we have a whole month to do it, so why don't we, everybody can submit their ideas and move them forward to committee, and then we.
Was there a reason for it to be removed?
Yeah, we just found that it was
Yeah,
not
it was
necessary.
cut and paste from other schools. It was a full comprehensive list, and I asked if we can remove it because
Yeah,
there's
but
no
there's
difference.
schools that have this policy?
No, not,
You don't know?
yeah, I do. I have
You
a
do have a
list,
list
yeah,
there that
yeah.
you share out, and
Mhm.
Why did you take it out?
I just don't understand why it was there in the first place. It was just cut and paste from other schools, and there was other language that I asked to be removed too, to simplify it. But,
there's nothing else
It's a very
that, there's
important issue, actually.
I'll,
Well,
there's
there's
nothing
other
else that's
policies that
removed,
cover this.
there's things that are changed, but nothing else is removed. I mean, we change things to like, you know, instead of a parent, you want two parents, instead of no students, you want a student per school. This is the only thing where it's strict out. It's because of the word equity, right? And I think like you have to look in the context of what equity means.
Right.
Equity means, like for a student standpoint, that they get treated and the same as everybody else. And I don't understand why that's bad. And inclusivity means that you feel accepted and invited in to participate in things. And I don't know why that's bad.
okay, so I took that out because I don't like it.
Yeah.
And I added 2 students from each school to be included because I wanted, that's my equity and inclusion, is to actually include the students in the survey.
But like whether you like it,
So
doesn't make it right or
no,
wrong.
I don't think
think
it works because it didn't tie the student to the school. I tied the students to the school to participate. That's their inclusion.
Yeah, but
So
that,
you don't-
Well, we don't
sorry,
have
it's
to
not-
have
it's
this
not- it's
argument
not which
right now.
students, it's
No,
the-
if you want to have a debate on whether I believe
It's
in
in the
equity and
design.
inclusion, no,
It's in the design.
not the definition of your side.
Just so it is a first reading, so it could be changed after that.
Right.
Yeah, that's the whole point of the first reading.
Bring it up to
Change
the
later.
policy.
Yeah,
It's not gonna change later. It's just, it's not.
but at the next meeting, if it's not changed, a board member could make a motion to add something to the policy as well. So if that's the case.
All right, I make a motion to add equity and inclusivity in the school environment to section 2. Have a second?
I was like,
There you go.
Now it's an intervening motion, so we do
Okay,
a
let's do
roll
a roll call.
call to add that sentence back. And I don't even know exactly what we're adding or not.
It's just equity and inclusivity, it's in design content. So that means it's a
Okay, as long as
question.
everyone understands what it would be to go
Yeah,
back.
it's right, sorry, 2G, what was there that was stricken out in the design and content section. Equity and inclusivity in the school environment, so when they,
Okay, so the motion was made, that's what you're asking to be put back in. If it fails, it's still the first reading of the old policy. Well, this policy, not the
Yeah.
old policy.
Okay, so let's do a roll call on adding that line to the policy.
Mr. Alfano?
No,
Mrs. Barrett?
No.
Mrs. Carey?
No.
Mr. Dempsey?
yes.
Mr. Drellick? Mr. Hoffman?
Yes.
Mrs. Lucarelli?
yes.
Ms. Marata?
No.
Okay, so I got other questions. Third-party vendor, you put examples, right? So with a policy comes cost. what is the cost of doing this to the district? Because I know Tony just said it's not like, you know,
It's
it's money. and
just
we
a
have, like-
framework, like I said, this is the first reading, and I remember in the past, you've always said, if you have any questions, bring it back to the policy, bring it back to the committee, so you're
So let's
welcome
just
to make.
let's table it and send it back to committee.
No.
So I think like, it's like, because it doesn't go into effect until March and April of next year anyway, so you're not gonna do this until then, so we have plenty of
Well,
time.
we don't have to actually, we can change the dates as well, so it's only a first reading.
Right, so if the this is, okay, great, first reading, so there's concepts to think about, because I'm not on that committee. Like, you're making a policy which now has forced the district to do something, and you're now saying that you need a third-party vendor to do this.
I'm suggesting a third-party vendor.
It doesn't say, it says the board shall first endeavor to administer the survey through an independent third-party vendor. It doesn't
Right.
say the
There
board.
are also vendors that don't require any financial obligations, and that was also shared with Mr. Ryder and the committee.
So vendors just do this for free?
There's a couple vendors that do this for free, yes.
Are those the vendors that are listed, Panorama Education and Qualitrix?
No,
So those are just other ones that you
these are
researched?
just examples, yes.
You researched those?
Yes, they're about $3,000 to $5,000, these specific ones, but I am not actually even suggesting them, I'm just
What are the names
bringing
of
it
the
up.
free ones?
I can send them to you, I don't have that up off the top of my head right now.
Donna,
Yes?
is this something that would just be handed out at the beginning of the year?
No, it says it's done through March 1st through April 30th. It has a
Yeah, I
specific
look at
date.
for everybody to read that policy and then come back to us, to the committee with questions and concerns. Right now, I'd like to make a motion and a roll call for this first.
So you're
The
ending
motion's already
discussion?
made, so.
Is that the end of the discussion?
We're ending discussion?
Yes, let's end the discussion.
Judy,
I mean, you didn't go to the meetings, you missed all the meetings, the committee
I'm not on
meetings.
that committee. I'm only on finance, and you know what I mean, I
But
I
we-
wasn't,
but I
work
shared-
obligation,
I
sorry.
shared this
I texted you and told you I wasn't gonna make it.
Right, I
was
shared this
courtesy and gave
policy,
you that,
I
told
shared
you.
this policy to you about 2 months ago, first time around. It's the same policy that I sent out to everyone about 2 months ago, and then we finally realized it and put it into a policy format with Mr. Ryder. So it's not, there's nothing new here, and, you know, just to get all these questions right now when
Well,
we're making this
there
vote.
are things that are new. There are things that are deleted.
The entire thing is brand new. So the entire policy is brand new,
Yeah,
okay?
So I get it, but I guess it's a concept of just, you know, I get it, but like have a conversation around the table, it's easier when you two are together, but like, not everybody gets to give their input. Policies impact the whole board. I'm good, I said my piece.
Okay, thank you. Roll call, please.
Mr. Alfano?
Yes.
Mrs. Barrett?
Yes.
Mrs. Carey?
Yes.
Mr. Dempsey?
I'll say yes because it's the first reading.
Mr. Drellick?
he's still up in the hall.
Ron stepped out.
Mrs. Lucarelli?
No.
Ms. Marata?
Yes.
Mr. Riley?
We have a written communication from Mrs. Berg, retirement letter, and we also have a letter from Mrs. BOE. I know it's not written here. Can we open up the floor now to public comment? Welcome anyone to come up and ask questions. Okay, seeing none, we're moving to, okay.
There's not an executive session.
There's no executive session, so.
Can I make a point, like, instead of a special meeting, can't we just do the interviews on August 12th? Like, you just approved, we have Schneck Price from August 1st to August 31st. Why is it necessary to have a special meeting?
Well, to make sure everybody can make it.
Well, it's a month away. If they put in a bid and we tell them we're meeting on August 12th, if they want the job, they're gonna be here.
Well, let's discuss.
This is what I'm asking. Why can't, why
We
can't
could,
we just?
but let's find out if everybody's available and when, and let's find out the appropriate dates for it.
I know, 'cause it's like, I'm away 2 weeks and then out of the next 3. That's why one person, but like, I don't know if anybody else is.
I believe
fully
that
available
Sue
for
had
this.
requested everybody to submit dates that are available for the upcoming month. I don't know if you had a chance to see that email.
We want to do it as quick as possible. We want to make sure all 9 of us are here. So
Right.
just,
So is
So-
everybody, all 9 going to be here on the 12th?
As far as I know, yes. But, like I said, there is actually a date that was sent out. You were requesting dates for people to get back to you?
Yes, but I only received it from you and Tony and Brian.
Okay, so
But
please
like
take a
that's
look
what-
at
But
the
the date
email.
can be set at any time. That's
That
why
wasn't
I'm
for
gonna
that, that
send
was
it
for
to
the
you.
architect, right? You were like, there's another, you're interviewing other people potentially too, right?
Yes, but that was just as a point of reference to see where anyone just wanted to.
Yeah, so
was it-
please reply to Mrs. Versa's emails and let's figure out all the dates that are available.
I respect that, I'm just saying everyone's free the 12th, and we know that, and everyone just said all 9 people are going to be here the 12th, why can't we just do the interviews?
Well,
on
I
the
also,
12th?
I have to go through all the RFPs
To see if they're
to
qualified.
see if they're
too.
qualified, and then I would have to contact the ones that you would suggest, whether it's all 3 or 2 of them, 2 or 3, and make an appointment to have them here. And if we give them at least a month to get here, they should be able to do it.
Which is
Right.
the 12th, which is,
But also as a
5
board,
weeks.
we can call any type of special meeting at any time, so we don't have to just be strictly to the committee times and the board times. We can have a meeting just designated for that.
I know,
So, I mean, out of the 30 upcoming days, maybe you can find one evening that you're available?
what's that?
For the upcoming days that are coming up, maybe you have one evening.
Yeah, but
that's-
the point of what I'm saying is that there's 9 of us, and we have a scheduled meeting already where I just asked you, and you said, yeah, everyone's coming on 12th. Then why are we making it more difficult? Just have them come on the 12th. It still will meet, even if you went with a different firm than Schneck Price and the King, it would still meet the criteria that they could start work on September 1st. And like, I'll just say, I'm gonna be very upset, like, we have a meeting and I'll give the dates, fine, but I know I'm on vacation for 2 weeks out of the next 5 weeks.
but the law
We all
firms
know
have,
we're there.
the law firms have to be available on the 12th too.
And
So
if
Sue is
you-
coordinating
Right,
that
so let's
schedule.
It's
coordinate
5
on
weeks
this.
away. If you told them we're interviewing you on August 12th, they will have somebody here. It's 5 weeks away.
Right, well, that's why wait 5 weeks?
But
Why
now-
don't we get
Yeah,
this
we do
process
sooner.
So you wanna give
going?
them, right, so you're gonna give them 2 weeks notice to get somebody here when you can email them right now and say you have 5 weeks to get here on the 12th when we all know that we have a full board here.
Okay, we're a board of 9, and right now you're the only one that's arguing, and
I'm
I'm
not
sure I have
arguing,
an issue
I'm
with
presenting
it.
a position that doesn't make sense to me of why we're, like, you're asking for input of when people are available to move on something quicker when they're still gonna just take effect on September 1st based off of the motion that you just passed.
Right,
It
but it
doesn't
would be
matter if
nice
you
to
do it
be
August
able to
12th
meet
or
with
you do it
everybody prior and then vote on it in the August meeting. And in the August meeting, we also have a workshop, so we have a lot of things happening.
But the idea is, it's important for everyone to have interaction with the potential donor.
Right.
Yes, so
And
I
that's
would
why
recommend
they're-
returning Sue's email and saying which dates are available, so we can confirm that.
August 12th.
Correct, but
So let's do it August 12th.
well, reply to her email
Yes.
so she can send out a formal request for everybody to be there to discuss this and put it on agenda.
And prior, we have also committee meetings, so that we can also tie it in with that time frame as well, so.
Do you want everybody to be there? I guess is the question.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, we want everybody.
Good. August 12th, good time.
Okay, thank you for your opinion, so.
Welcome.
Okay. Motion to adjourn at 7:45. May I have a second?
Second.
Okay, this meeting is adjourned at 7:45. Thank you, everyone, and
Have a great summer.
have a